I got to tell you something. We're getting to that time of year where I don't know if you realize, but all of these places are starting to play Christmas music. The Christmas, and you're going down to your neighborhood, and you're seeing people with Christmas lights up and everything. It's incredible. It's all over the place now.
Wait till after Thanksgiving, please.
Before you know it, we'll be doing our Christmas Eve show, and we'll be having Fritz's Polka Band coming in and performing.
Yeah. Yes.
Good morning, Fritz.
Good morning.
Every year, I know you do. You like to do a lot of different things for your constituents.
Yes.
And I know you have an event that's coming up. Let's talk about that first.
Sure.
What's coming up for you guys?
Tonight at 5 o'clock at the Verona VFW, myself and my family and some friends, we're hosting our 6th annual thank you dinner for Town of Verona veterans. There's no charge for the veterans or their families to come. It's just an opportunity to come for an hour and have a meal and have some conversation with some fellow veterans and, you know, folks like my family that really admire what they've done and some continue to do.
Yeah.
And I do know, again, there's going to be a couple World War II veterans, and as you know, they're getting fewer every day.
There. Yeah, I know.
But we do have a couple in Verona that have been to almost every one of those that my family's put on.
Wow.
And some good folks, and you stand and talk with folks like that, and whenever they share their stories, which obviously, as you know veterans, they're very humble.
Yeah.
But to hear it's like some of the things they did, and I'm always in awe. And I think some of those folks have become friends with me. It's quite a feeling.
We are as humans, we create situations where life is comfortable, right?
Yep.
I talked about how I was deep conversation after this election about how terrible things are, how this world is just so terrible right now, and not really. We're really probably the greatest place on earth to live. In terms of how we have it. And then on top of that, for mankind, it's probably the best time for humans in the history of the world. I don't think things are that bad, but we have the ability to create a very comfortable place for ourselves. But when you're off in another country, and you're, in the Normandy, for instance, the stuff that World War II veterans went through, the stuff of Vietnam and Korea, and currently, today, what our veterans go through, there's no such thing as comfort in so many situations. You hear stories of these guys placed in just horrific situations, all fighting for our freedom. They don't get to enjoy that comfort that we get to enjoy. So when we say it's terrible, you ought to think about what veterans go through protecting our freedoms.
Yeah, and it's interesting you brought up Normandy because my Uncle Jeff, who has since passed away, but he survived both D-Day and Battle of the Bulge.
Wow.
And he never really spoke about it until probably the last few years of his life. And I read some of the things he'd done, and I was really stunned, and what they went through, and especially when they approached the beach in Normandy, and, things didn't exactly go planning-wise as they should have with the high tide and everything. And, they were going over these obstacles, and they didn't know what they were. Well, come to find out, that was comrades as
humans.
They were climbing over. And you just hear this stuff and things going off next to them. And
so when we say things are bad, life is tough, and, we still have cable, though, and you still have your cell phones, and we're going on vacation
First
twice a
world
year.
problems, as they call them.
Think about what those guys, really knowing when you get out of that boat, when you start charging to that beach, there's a good chance that you're not going to survive that.
Yeah.
But they did it.
Yeah.
And it's incredible just to think about it.
Sometimes you got to put things into perspective.
Yeah. So you have this dinner, and you do it every year. This is the 6th year you've been doing it. It is from 5 until 6 o'clock tonight.
Yes, the Verona VFW.
All right. And come on out and take advantage of that. Now I want to ask you just briefly, how are things with Fritz's Polka Band? I know you guys always have all unique things going on and some big things sometimes.
Some TV shows that you appear in.
Things. What's the latest here?
Well, TV shows lately, except I am on with you now, of course.
You're here live.
That's cool, though, too.
Yeah.
And but we haven't been in anything like any TV shows, hit TV shows lately, But we had a busy year, and went up and down the East Coast a few times to Virginia, played one of the best gigs of a lifetime down in Fredericksburg, Virginia. It was more like a rock concert.
Wow.
The crowd was just actually like going up and down. It was amazing. And then, sometimes there's big extremes with the band because then we do gigs that are almost like an unplugged gig, just laid back and mellow. And, it's my drummer Mike likes to say we're musical chameleons because you can do the mellow gigs and then you can do the rocking over the top gigs. And
we've seen you do both, and we've seen you take Fritz's Polka Band and start doing some of the greatest rock classics of all time.
Watchtower.
That's one
yeah.
of my favorites to play.
Yeah.
You know, we even threw in Hey Joe a couple times this year. You know, and try to do things that folks aren't going to expect.
Nice.
And so that was fun. And you know, and I was honored to I got nominated again for an award out in Cleveland, Ohio, at their Polka Hall of Fame. And you know, whenever that happens, it's always amazing because I look at the folks that are, you know, nominated as well, and it's like, wow,
there you are with them.
I'm in that little group. It's pretty cool, and so it's been a fun year. You know, we did a lot of gigs, had a lot of fun, and it's something we don't take for granted. You know, I mean, it's you never know when it might go away. You know, so we just want to try to play as much as we can while we can.
Pretty awesome. We hope to see you on a Christmas Eve show. Make sure you chat with which, by the way, is on Friday before Christmas Eve this year.
Sounds good.
Always easier. Normally at Christmas Eve we always have to work till noon,
right?
And we're always tired by the time you try to enjoy Christmas Eve. And this year we get to do it the day before, which really works out. Fritz, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.